So it's a Sunday in March or April, and we look around our hometown, or we look around the mall, we look around Target, and we see pastels, and we see bunnies, and we see eggs. Okay? Or perhaps it's really any time between Halloween and New Year's, when the world turns basically green and red. Or maybe we're at a party where people are serving something with bacon, or maybe we're getting our hair cut and the barber asks us what Santa will bring us. Looking around this room, I know that all of these awkward situations are common to us. As Jews in America, we typically exist more or less unnoticed within the broader Christian majority. Other than my Magen David necklace, which has, by the way, not stopped people from asking me about my plans for Christmas. Not much about me screams non-Christian. But internally, we know that in many parts of our lives, there is an invisible barrier between us and them, between Jew and non-Jew. I bring that up because this week we read Parashat Shemini, the third Parashat of the book of Leviticus, in which we encounter for the first time the rules of kashrut, one of the defining characteristics of Judaism, and one of the major differences between us and other religions. Sure, other religions have their own restrictions. Islam has the rule of halal, which, of course, closely mirror kashrut. Hinduism forbids the consumption of cow meat, etc. But in the United States, where Christianity dominates, the laws of kashrut separate us from our Christian friends and neighbors, even if, as individuals, maybe we don't keep kosher. As this week's Parashat concludes, Adonai tells the Israelites that Adonai has now provided all the rules and instructions for, quote, distinguishing between the impure and the pure. As I was reading this and I was preparing for this week, I thought that particular line was interesting because it implies to me that once all these regulations were set out, the choice whether to follow them, whether to acknowledge and understand and continue along with this difference between pure and impure, reverts to each individual person. If someone, for example, wants to eat pork, even though Adonai has provided the proscription against it, it's possible. Adonai did not kill all pigs. In fact, one must opt in to following the laws rather than having it sort of enjoined upon you as part of your birthright. One of my favorite things, I think it's funny every year, is when I go to Publix on a Jewish holiday, or as a Jewish holiday is approaching. Typically, at least at a lot of Publixes around here, the store doesn't really know what kinds of foods we eat. There could be matzah, as we're getting ready for Hanukkah. There could, in fact, be apples and honey in preparation for Yom Kippur. Of course, that very important day when we eat all the apples and honey. But even when Publix, or even Winn-Dixie, which has the large kosher section here, gets it right, the fact that we have to have a kosher section in our stores underscores the way in which we are a people apart. This past 6 months has made me really question the degree to which we as a Jewish community are accepted, how accepted we really are. I grew up here in Orlando. I went to public schools. And for the life of me, I was thinking, can I remember any specific overt instances of anti-Semitism against me? There are periodically neo-Nazis that protest somewhere around here. But I mean against me or my family in particular. I'm sure I experienced what we probably call today microaggressions. I don't remember specific ones. But there was always this sense, even though my Jewish identity was fully formed and was intact, that there was some difference between me and other people. In this room, and when we go next door, we all have different conceptions of Judaism. Some of us here keep kosher, and others may eat fish that are without scales or fins. I assume that even though Leviticus has to spell out that we can't eat locusts, I assume that's not really something that anybody in this room really needed to be told. Some people in this room may watch TV or use their phones on Saturdays, and others might not. But when we're next door, or when we're in this room, or when we're in this building, there's a sense of community even among our diversity. And as we enter this weekend, which, as I sort of alluded to, marks 6 months since Hamas's horrific attack on Israel, I want us all to rejoice in this breadth of Judaism we see around us. The diversity we see is not a detriment. It makes our community stronger, makes our community more resilient, and makes our community more welcoming. Shabbat Shalom.